Welcome back to the BAMC Showcast. I'm here at our home, the Rock House Dive Bar Kitchen venue. I got two guests at this time, creators, owners, founders of Soldiercon. We got Matthew and Carlos. We got Carlos on the phone via Las Vegas. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fabulous. How you doing?
Doing good. Matt, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Fernie sends his regards. He wanted to be here. Benito Perez, he's the other uh, I want, producer of the SoldierCon with Carlos. I'm kind of the behind the scenes, um, getting some ideas to these guys once in a while. So, but yeah, Ben and I created Spiralmind, and Carlos has been with SoldierCon for several years.
All right, well, let's rewind. Let's tell the audience what Spiral Mind is.
Okay, Spider-Man is a comic book that Benito Perez and myself, Matt Rothblatt, created back in the early 2000s. Independent comic book that we've been hustling and getting out to the world. Neither one of us are artists, but we've been meeting great artists along the way and great convention holders like Carlos Molina here. And um, SoldierCon was one of our favorite ones that we participated in, and so that's why we're real excited for what Carlos has to offer this year with the revamp or the reignition of SoldierCon to the world, to El Paso.
So you guys have run this event before, then you kind of took went away and came back, or give me the backstory here, Carlos.
All right, so I hope we have a lot of time.
Much as you need.
SoldierCon was established in 2015, and the reason why I started doing SoldierCon is I was bringing car shows to the military installation, and I wanted to do something else as far as the soldiers' morales. I go to a lot of different Comic Cons. Been doing so ever since I came back from Italy in 2000. But for anyone that goes to a convention in our area, by the time you step foot in the parking garage, if you have a family of 3 or 4, you're about down $250. And for professionals and people that make a decent living, that's okay. That's $250 for a family day is not bad. For an active duty soldier, especially an enlisted soldier, $250 is a lot of money. So what we wanted to do is bring the Comic Con experience to active duty members at a reasonable price for them. And so we started charging only $10 a head, and then children were for free. And that was in 2015. We brought in people like Noel G, Sam De La Rosa, who's the creator of Venom. We had the Red Bull stunt team doing stunts on the motorcycles before. We've even had drifting in Fort Bliss. I don't think everyone else has done drifting on Fort Bliss.
Nope.
And over the years, MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, they talk in different installations. So we were invited to Phoenix. We did it in Tucson. We even did Fort Carson. And then in 2020, we were supposed to do a combo with the Mexico Comic Con in El Paso, but COVID hit, and everyone knows all the after effects of COVID. I almost died 3 times because of COVID, but and because of that, I really wasn't enthusiastic about doing events or going through more stress, and so I kind of put it in the back burner, almost forgot about it. But I ended up sharing a room office with Benito Perez for a couple of years while we were on Fort. We're both senior engineers, and for 2 years, he basically told me that I needed to bring back SoldierCon. I really did not want to do it, and finally, last year, I was convinced and that it could work. So that was decided summer of 2023. And September 14th of 2024, we announced it on social media that we're going to bring back SoldierCon. And then here we are, less than a month away for the revamp of SoldierCon. Now, because it's grown so much over the years, we cannot do it in Fort Bliss anymore. And we're going to do it at the Starlight Convention Center, which is a new convention center that is right next to the International Airport for El Paso, right in front of 4 major hotels, walking distance from anything you want to eat, pretty much. And it's an awesome venue, and we're distinguishing ourselves with other events in the area by the new venue and by the talent that we're bringing to El Paso. We are going to have some legacy guests. Like I said, Sam De La Rosa, David Roman with Rick and Morty, and everyone's favorite Hector Noel G from Fast and the Furious and several of the movies, even The Walking Dead.
That's pretty cool. I'm a big Noel G fan myself. Actually, this is kind of a bit part, but he played a gang leader on The Shield, and I freaking love that show. So I always remember him as the leader of Las Profetas.
Oh, very cool. I mean, he played that role in different movies. Even Bruce Almighty. We're not going to say what happens to the monkey, but he was in Bruce Almighty as well. But what a lot of people don't know about Noel is he's an amazing individual. He goes out and does a lot of motivational speaking. I've seen a lot of videos of him talking in church gatherings. He's very, very down to earth. Last time he was in El Paso, we were chilling out the night before the event at the lobby of the hotel. People would come up to him, and he would take pictures with them. He would even tell them, "Hey, you want to do a video really quick?" He was really, really, humble and nice to people at all times. And it's not an act; it's the way he is. And I have people that work with him here in Las Vegas. Johnny Jimenez from the Toy Shack is also on Pawn Stars. He works with them on a weekly basis, and he tells me the same thing. He's an awesome dude. So hopefully a lot of his fans in El Paso or fans of his work, especially in Fast and the Furious, will come out to Soldiercon and see him.
That'd be really cool. Any plans of having a panel with him or any other guests? Like a Q&A?
Yeah, we are going to have several panels. He is going to be part of one of the panels, and then he also has a VIP experience to get have more personal time with selected fans. That's an option on our ticket menu as well.
And I'll tell you one thing about Noel G. He treats, like Carlos said, he treats everybody like a VIP during the con. So he's open to talk to anybody. I've got some awesome stories. When I first met him up in Albuquerque Comic-Con, he was there with a couple other folks, Neil Brown Jr. and the guy who played Miguel, a good friend of ours. His name's slipping my mind right now. Sorry, man. But the Vatos from The Walking Dead. So they played the Vatos, and it was awesome to see that storyline and then to meet those guys. And we actually helped recruit them to get them down to the Comic-Con in El Paso the next year. And so we had a handful of Vatos here in El Paso, and it was a great experience. I even went ghost hunting with Noel G, with the Ghost Group. So he's just this great dude and a good friend. I got his number on my phone actually, and not because of this, but before then. And ran into him at San Diego Comic-Con one time. He gave me this big old hug. I told my son to film it because he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know, he didn't make the connection. And then Noel G was there talking to some fans, and I walked up to him and I said, "What's up?" And he gave me the big old brother hug, So he's just a down home guy. He loves El Paso. I'll tell you that. He loves El Paso. He loves coming here. So, if you're a fan of Noel G, come meet him, come see him.
So the bang is worth the buck.
Yeah. And he's a funny guy too. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. I noticed on your list, you had a Power Ranger. I wasn't a huge Power Rangers fan. I was when I kind of got in the first couple seasons, but then I was kind of older when that show came out. But I saw you had a Power Ranger girl, and you have Kevin Sorbo. I'm pretty psyched about that myself.
Yeah, Kevin's an awesome dude. He's one of the guests that has actually waived his appearance fee because what we're doing for the soldiers. You mentioned the Power Rangers. Allison Sullivan, who is the Yellow Power Ranger, she actually lives in Europe, and she's going to be flying in for this event, which is pretty amazing. And then Anne Marie, who's a princess on Power Rangers, she's coming down. And then I just found out, luckily I'm here in Vegas because I was able to talk to someone that manages the Blue Power Ranger, and he might be joining us as well. Nobody else knows this, and this is the first time Matt's hearing about it too.
Late breaking news.
Now, are we talking about the original Blue Power Ranger, or what season are we talking about here?
You know what? I'm like you. I've never watched the Power Rangers, so I don't know what season, but all I know it's a Blue Power Ranger. He's coming into town as well if everything works out.
Because I'm thinking the guy who played Billy, but that was like the very beginning. So, and there's been many iterations that I'm not unsure of myself.
But Power Ranger fans are rabid, so they'll be looking forward to any iteration of the Power Rangers that come to town. So I see it at every con that we go to, out of town, everywhere. There's just a huge fan base for Power Rangers. I was like you, I was a little too old for Power Rangers, but what got me into them is the toys. I love the way these toys are coming out now.
Whenever Allison posts a video, we get 1,000 hits in like a matter of minutes. That's how much pull that the Power Rangers have. His name is Blake Foster.
Okay.
The Blue Power Ranger. Yeah. And everything goes well, he'll be joining us at Soldiercon. So we haven't announced it on our social media yet until we get all the agreements signed.
Okay, so potential exclusive scoop right here in the BAMC Showcast. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So,
and also, if you want to have a scoop, we might have some WWE wrestlers attend as well.
Oh, I'm a huge wrestling fan. You're teasing me now. Can give me a hint?
I can't. I can't. That I can't say because I was asked to wait until we get the final word. But I'll send you a text of who's on the table.
All right, sounds good. So we potentially WWE, potential Blue Power Ranger. We have official Power Rangers confirmed. Kevin Sorbo, Hercules. We got Noel G. Like, what other big stars or big guests you have as far as like not just celebrities, but like we have Spiralmind Comics, for example. What other big vendors or guests we have announced?
Well, we have Joe Rubenstein, who was part of the miniseries for Wolverine.
Nice.
So which is really, really popular. The number one Raw without being certified to CGC or CBCS is going for $280 right now at this convention, and this convention is more about Deadpool since Rob Liefeld is here, and then Sam De La Rosa, which is a big fan favorite too, with Venom. We have Martin Kaliba from Pirates of the Caribbean. Leilani, who's the Jawa in Star Wars, and then we also have some Dragon Ball Z voice actors. We have Vic Mignogna, who not only does Broly in Dragon Ball Z, he does 400 other anime voices. So get your pops so you can sign them. And then Tiffany Vollmer, who plays Bulma, and then I have 4 Sonics. We have Sonic, Knuckles, Shadow, and Big Cat, and John St. John, who does Big Cat. For those older guys like myself, remember Duke Nukem.
Yep.
He's the voice of Duke Nukem.
Groovy.
He'll be at the event. And then we have a lot of talent from El Paso that people should know about. Our featured guest is Rudy Vasquez, an extremely humble individual, and 10 times more talented than he is humble. But he doesn't. I don't know why. He doesn't really let people know how good of an artist he is. He's going to be there.
Yeah, he hasn't done cons in a long time.
He's going to be there as well. As you mentioned, Spiralmind, Mickey Clausen, who's an El Paso original, he's coming into town for this event. Joe Lujan, who's doing some amazing things in Hollywood, he will be in town for SoldierCon. And Matt, please let me know if I forget anybody. But there is a lot of great artists and artisans in the area that have elected to be part of our event in September, and we're hoping to create positive memories for all those that attend. And I've said it many, many times. Our whole theme for SoldierCon is to allow the opportunity for those that are fans of pop culture to meet their heroes, regardless if the heroes are a voice actor, an actor in a movie, an artist, or an active duty member in the military. That is what our goal is, to allow the fans to meet their heroes.
That's awesome, man.
And right, the whole thing about El Paso is it's a community of a lot of folks, and that includes the military. So it seems like a lot of times Fort Bliss is doing their own events, and they invite the public to it, and sometimes it's difficult to get on base and things like that.
Yeah.
But the soldiers are part of this community. I'm a result of that. I was born and raised in El Paso because my father was stationed at Fort Bliss. A lot of us probably are. I'd like to point out that Carlos is a veteran, Benito's a veteran, and all three of us work for the government or civil servants. So we serve the government. So we see what the soldiers go through and what they do every day, and their families and the costs that they incur. So, like Carlos said, we want to make something that's affordable and that they can enjoy these things without having to break the bank just walking in the door. So on top of that, going back to the talent, Carlos mentioned a lot of local talent like Joe Lujan. He's a ex El Pasoan, living in Vegas now, but comes back all the times to premiere his movies. He has a whole world that he's created with movies and horror movies, superhero movies, and he's got comic books that he's produced from that, and he's doing cartoons. So he's got some exclusives that he's going to be revealing only at Soldiercon.
Nice.
Rudy, last time he did a con was probably 2012 or something like that here in El Paso. He kind of stepped out of the limelight or out of doing a show. I think it might have been an old previous Soldiercon, one of the second Soldiercons here in El Paso a while back, but he hasn't been out in public. So getting him to sign artwork or having him or commission him to draw something is going to be a great opportunity for folks that rarely get to see someone local doing that. Like he mentioned Mickey Clausen. Mickey Clausen's from the 80s. He used to own a comic book store here in the 80s that a lot of the old school people remember. And then he went to San Diego, did work for Image, did work for Disney. He's a colorist, inker, creator, and he's currently on doing his own thing on Marcosia Entertainment, which is Marcosia Publishing out of the UK, which we Spiralmind creators recently signed with. So those 2 issues that you found online, yes, Michael, were through Marcosia. So we got more to come through Marcosia, and we're really excited about that prospect. So we'll have a little Marcosia reunion at Soldiercon.
That sounds awesome. So that's like your main distributor, right, for the comic, the Marcosia dude?
For ours now. We used to self-publish through Fee3 Comics, which is our label. And we still, we'll still have our Fee3 Comics things available at Comic-Con because Marcosia currently just does digital unless it's a graphic novel. But we're getting to the point where they have enough for a graphic novel to be published. So, shout out to Marcosia Enterprises.
And if you're lazy like me, Kindle Comicology, 2 clicks, boom, it's on your phone.
Amazon, Drive-Thru Comics. Just look up Spiralmind. Just Google Spiralmind. Also Google Soldiercon at the same time. Carlos, I'm sorry. We're sitting in the Rock House, and I don't know if you've announced the Rock and Roll Connection, the Soldiercon that you have this year. I don't know if you heard me, Carlos. Sorry. We're
Illusion. Carlos, you there, bud?
I'm still here.
Yeah, there's a Rock and Roll Connection, Carlos. The Soldiercon.
Yeah, I think you can go ahead, since you're really enthusiastic about it, you go ahead and tell people about what we're about to announce.
Okay, can we announce it then? We can announce it? We can announce it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, Carlos is being coy about it. I met this individual a while back in Albuquerque Comic-Con, gave him my ring, the Spiralmind ring that I had on my hand at the time. Marky Ramone of the Ramones is going to be coming to SoldierCon.
You guys heard it here first.
There's a Freudian slip there. So, SoldierCon, Marky Ramone, September 6th through 8th. Coming a legend in the rock and roll punk history. One of the original punks.
OG in the game for sure.
I can't think of the name.
We haven't even announced it on our social media yet. So this is the first time that we haven't even posted it.
Yeah, so we've just been talking about it, and I was excited to hear about it. He's a real good guy. He'll sign anything. He was in The Simpsons. He's got a Simpsons banner that he puts up of himself.
I remember that.
Simpsons. He'll sign symbols. He'll sign books. He's got a book, and he's got he'll sign whatever. So he's a real great guy, Marky Ramone.
So go on Amazon, buy your CDs and vinyl, have them ready.
Yeah, pretty much. I do want to add, SoldierCon is 6th through the 8th of September, but we do have a car show portion because of my affinity with vehicles and modifying vehicles for SEMA. There is a car show that is going to be the 7th of September, which is a Saturday. And doing car shows for many, many years, I know about the heat, and so that's why we're having it inside the parking garage. So it gets people out of the heat, and just in case we get some rain, we don't have to worry about re-cleaning the vehicles if we get some water on them. But at the car show, those that are competing in the car show, they're going to be eligible for some pretty cool prizes. Tapped in with some of my sponsors from SEMA, and we're going to be giving away a full customized Catskins interior for one of the participants of the car show. That can go anywhere from $3,500 to like $6,500 just for that customized interior, as long as the vehicle is within the patterns that they have. And I think go back as far back as 1989 Honda Accord. Then we have Tri-Ace Tires that's given us 2 sets of off-road tires for one of the competitors. We have some Vibe Auto that we're going to give away, and some recovery kits from Warren. And these things that we're giving away is not necessarily going to be for like the best of show, because they're going to get prizes too, or like the top of their category. What I've decided to do is the judges are going to tell me what vehicle just needs that little extra to get them over the edge, so they can be, a major competitor at shows. And that's how we're going to be awarding these I guess specialty awards for the vehicles that attend. So if you have a vehicle that has fully performanced out and has a great exterior, you got your ice going on, but your interior is lacking, you could be eligible. Or if you got a pretty nice lifted truck, but you've really worn out your tires, you can be available. Stuff like that. And so most of the time you go to shows, and the guys that win best of show, that win the best of their categories, are the ones that take home all the awards and all the gimmies. At our event, we are going to have awards for those that deserve it, but we are going to be giving awards to help people out to get to the next level. And that's going to be the 7th of September for the car show portion.
That's pretty cool. I'd love to see one of those award winners who gets like the interior come back the next year and be like a heavyweight contender the following year. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and these interiors, I tell you, I've been using Catskins, gosh, I think, almost 2 decades now, more than 2 decades. I mean, the Dodge Ram that had to put a new motor in, it's a 2008, because of the Albuquerque Comic-Con, traveling up there with the Spider Buggy. That still has the Catskins interior since 2009. And all my SEMA vehicles get crazy interiors that are done and completed by Catskins. And so big shout out to Miles Hubbard at a Catskins, and has been supporting our vehicles for over two decades.
Nice, shout out to them.
And Carlos he's being modest now. He's got some high profile customers that he's worked with on customizing vehicles. I don't know if he wants to shout them out right now, but they're comic book related.
Go for it.
Well, some of you guys might have heard the name of Mustafa. He provided us the artwork for the Dodge Hellcat that we did a couple of years ago. He's also going to be providing us the artwork for the Deadpool Mustang that we're building for the Catskins booth at SEMA. One year we did 5 different vehicles through Tyler Kirkham. With his, he's a prolific artist for covers and for Marvel and DC. And then some of your comic fans might have heard of this name before. I don't know. Stan Lee. We did a Stan Lee vehicle a few years ago.
He sounds familiar.
Passing. Yeah, you think? Yeah. So we did a Stan Lee vehicle. Had his full signature on the side of the vehicle. Had his poem on the hood, and then his likeness on the roof. A lot of Spider-Man webbing. But I think the vehicles that have had the most popularity are the Spawn vehicles that I was able to do with Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, one of the originators from Image, who basically has taken the mantle of Stan Lee, and it's very, very well known. And if you've ever heard of the Spawn vehicles, the 3 Mustangs that we did, the GT 500, the Spawn Jeep. We even built his son's CRZ at his home that was displayed at SEMA.
Nice.
And many people are familiar with them, but it was all done through Project Cars. And even I'm here in Las Vegas, and I'm walking around. People notice the Project Cars logo, and the comic community. They're like, "Hey, aren't you guys the one that did the Spawn Mustang?" And get to have a conversation with people about that. But yeah, Matt's correct. We worked with some really great people, and for those of you, I'm not going to chastise you, but for those of you that grab images from the internet and put it in a wrap and then put it in your vehicle, that is not considered correct, because what you're doing is you're snatching an IP, an intellectual property that you don't have justification to use or authority to use, and you're putting it on your vehicle. You have to go through a process for that artwork. It's a body of work to be placed on your vehicle. And with all the vehicles that I've mentioned, we have gone through that process and done it correctly. And I found this out the hard way back in SEMA 2000, I think 14 or 15, when we did that year we did a Deadpool versus Wolverine Mustang, not knowing what was popularity of Deadpool and the movie that just came out. And we were actually stopped by a lawyer from Marvel and explained, what we did was wrong. And fortunately, it didn't go to litigation since we weren't selling anything from the vehicle. But that kind of tightened up things for us, and we made sure that whatever artwork that we had on the vehicle was approved by not only the publishing house but by the artists themselves.
And I'm just questioning for clarification purposes here. Is it just because it was a copyrighted image, or so like if Matt here, well, Matt's not an artist, but let's say if Matt drew me up his own Wolverine sketch and I plastered that image created by him, would that be legal, or is that still a copyright violation because it's a character he doesn't own?
Because Matt, I can, okay, we're using Matt as an example.
I'm not an artist.
Matt doesn't have any rights to the Wolverine character. Matt has not been paid by Marvel to create any covers. Matt has not been paid by Marvel to do any artwork. So yes, it would be illegal.
All right, that's what I thought.
If Matt was contracted by Marvel to do a cover, an alternative cover for a book, or a regular cover for a book, then yes, and he could give us the rights to use that artwork for a vehicle.
Okay.
And by the same
fan art is what it is. It's fan art, and it should not be sold, and it should not be used if the entity that holds the intellectual property is not aware or has given authorization.
And let me just chime in.
I'm not an attorney at all. I'm just warning people to be careful when you're using IPs that don't belong to you or do not belong to the artist that's providing you that IP.
And the other thing is, like Carlos is saying, what's great about Comic-Cons is I went to a Comic-Con one time. It was out of town, unfortunately, but good for us. There was a panel on copyright, using copyright, and the panelist went into depth on how art becomes copyrighted. So there's certainly a need for the community of artists and creators to understand that, and even like Carlos is saying, it crosses over into the car world. So you can't just pull, and this is all coming to light with AI and things like that. So learning about IP, creating IP, owning IP is really what a lot of people are learning about and doing nowadays. And getting to the original, like Deadpool, Rob Liefeld created Deadpool, but for Marvel.
Yeah, he doesn't own it.
So he doesn't own it. So he's got it, but because he drew it and he created it, he has some licenses to make deals and work deals. But Marvel's now Disney is getting a piece of the pie and has to approve certain things, I'm sure.
But was that part of how Image Comics was formed? Because guys like Rob Liefeld and others, they wanted to own their creations.
Exactly. So yeah.
So I have a question about the convention. Like, I assume you have like merchant tables. So if there's an artist, like pick a local artist, I don't know, so we'll call him Johnny. Let's say Johnny has fan art, and this happens at a lot of conventions. Like he draws his own Harley Quinn. Like, And I know, like, technically you're not supposed to do that, but it happens a lot. Is that allowed at the convention, or how does that work for SoldierCon?
For us, we're like I said, we're not attorneys. We're not. For me, I'm speaking for myself. Matt might have some certifications that I don't know about, but for myself, I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice. But we know that there's going to be people that may have some fan art, and we can't stop them because we're not owners of that property. The owner of the property would be the one that would be responsible for stopping that individual from selling that whatever product that they have. And I don't know many of these vendors to know exactly what they're going to be selling.
Now,
But if we see somebody selling stuff from Deadpool and they have no relation to Rob Liefeld or Disney, are we going to kick them out? No, that's not going to happen.
right, it's at their own risk, and
yeah, exactly. It's at their own risk, and that's at the responsibility of the entity that holds that property to do what they need to do.
now sometimes artists who are drawing, like for instance, you're wearing a Lady Death shirt. I'm sure Brian Polito had picked up some artists that he found drawing Lady Death at a Comic-Con. So I don't think creators, at least creators in the indie level, frown upon it unless they're blatantly taking an image that they drew, copying it, and selling it. In their
That's a no-no anywhere.
Yeah, so that's and that happens. You get the the Fox Plaza syndrome, the knockoff type of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a story I heard about James O'Barr, creator of The Crow, who was sitting across, and this might even happen at a con here, just sitting across from a person who was selling his artwork, copies of his artwork, prints of his artwork, and he just went over there and took it off his table and put it on his table and started selling it. So that was a pretty rock and roll move there, right? Pretty badass move. Instead of yelling at the guy or anything, he just grabbed it from him and took him. And of course, the person probably had no idea what was going on, but yeah, and the same thing with cosplay. It's kind of a tribute to the characters, a tribute to the thing, and usually, like as a creator, I love it when we see cosplay of Spiralmind. It's the biggest form of flattery for us. Now, if Disney thinks they're losing money of people dressing up as Deadpool or whatever, now that they own Deadpool, they may go after some people, but I think they're taking it all in.
See, now you got me wondering, because what's popular, especially at the indie level, is those cosplay variants. Like, for example, Sun K has a comic called Murder Nun. There's like a Punisher cosplay cover. It's the chick, but she's wearing, scantily dressed with a skull tank top with the guns, and she just put another print out as her two characters, Becca Boo and Pumpkin, but they're female versions of Wolverine and Deadpool. And I was wondering, does Marvel, I guess they have to approve it, or is it frowned upon or not? Or I'm curious now.
Yeah.
That's a common practice at the indie level.
Yeah, Carlos might know more.
I mean, it's the thing is, these cosplayers, it's like trying to round up everyone that dresses up at Halloween and frowning upon someone that takes artistic liberties to do their interpretation of Wolverine, for lack of a better term. I don't think I personally don't believe that's gonna happen. Could they do it? Yeah, but is it worth it? No. Now, if there's a cost, this is what Ben and I had long conversations about before. If a cosplayer is at an event and the cosplayer has all these posters of themselves portraying different entities, and they're selling these prints or whatever that they have of these images of these entities, they could be fined liable because they don't have rights to that IP and they're making money off of it. So if you're making money off of it, there's an opportunity for them to come after you. But like I said, I am not an attorney. I do not give advice. These are just conversations that I've had with other people because of things that I've seen over the years.
Right. The really big thing is just to keep bootlegs out. That's you can recognize some bootleg items, or, what we don't want to do is have a bunch of Temu resellers at
AliExpress.
Comic-Con. I mean, you could go down to Fox Plaza and find the stuff or whatever, but if I don't know, it's still open, but you go to the, the flea markets or whatever for that. But, no one's going to pay, want to go through the effort, bring people to Comic-Con to go get stuff that they can, find down the street on it, but, it's more of a community type thing. So people expressing their love for characters, their love for, stories, and just, letting their geek flag fly at an event all together. And this includes creators, local creators, out of town creators, artists from all around, actors, voice actors, musicians, wrestlers, just
Car
pop culture,
enthusiasts.
and car enthusiasts, and besides the normal civilian population that loves that, who loves it more than soldiers, and who travel the world, and they're all over the country, all over the world, and they're I don't want to say stuck in El Paso, but they're you hear it all the time and time again. Ever since I was growing up, there's nothing to do in El Paso. Or people my own niece was stationed here. She's from California. She was stationed here. She couldn't stand it, but she found her tribe here and found her element and went to EDC concerts here and stuff I didn't even know about. And she made it her own, but she, we know how it is for folks here.
I feel the same way. I've been here since 2010, but music scene, rock house, I found my tribe, if you will.
Yeah. And I see your tattoo, your sworn tattoo on your arm. And that's how we met actually at Free Comic Book Day. I saw your sworn tattoo. And for those who don't know, that's, Lady Death,
Coffin Comics, Sworn to the Black.
Yeah, exactly. And I got a quick story about that. When we first started doing Comic-Cons with Spiralmind, we went to Albuquerque Comic-Con, which was our second Comic-Con after the El Paso one that year. And there hadn't been any really Comic-Cons in the area for a long time. And so this was the first Albuquerque Comic-Con that we went up to. And, Brian, I was excited because Brian Polito was going to be there. I was a fan of Lady Death in the 90s. And he was one of the big creators that I recognized that was going to be there. His booth was the same size as ours, in a corner behind a big door. And the convention wasn't a big open room. It was a bunch of different rooms, big rooms in a hallway. And we were in the hallway, and he was in one of the big rooms behind a door with a few statues, a few comics. He had not yet launched Coffee. He had not yet re-owned his character. So we got, and he had a panel. I asked him a bunch of questions. He even shushed me in the panel. So excited to talk to him. And we've been friends ever since. We'd see him all the time at Albuquerque Comic-Con and wherever he was at. Matter of fact, when we told him about an idea, this is before we met Carlos, about Soldiercon, we told him, hey, what if there's a convention for the soldiers at Fort Bliss? And he said, oh, no, sign me up. So, of course, you know how busy he is now. He redefined Kickstarters. It's just great to see him from humble beginnings, quote unquote, to regaining his character and this whole drive. He and his wife have really taken it to the next level. And,
they really have. And
just seeing fans in the wild, seeing other sworn, Lady Death sworn folks here. One day we're going to have Spiralmind as part of his group, and we've been pitching it to him. I don't think he's ready for a superhero in his world, but one day there's going to be some crossover at some point. Mark my words, Brian. We're gonna work together. But other than that, when we're going to try to get you at one of these cons.
Yeah, Brian, we want you in El Paso, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I know your big one in Tucson is happening the week before, and you're going to be tired. But next year, start thinking about it, Brian.
Yeah, we got a Feed Nation, local Sworn Nation chapter in El Paso, about 4 or 5 of us. But come on, Brian, we want you here. Actually, I met Brian. It was Albuquerque Comic-Con 2017. Me and my buddy Lost, we would go every year. But yeah, they're Brian, Fran, Jimmy, all those people are so cool. They're like family, and they treat you like family. And the headquarters they have is incredible. And this year at Sworn Fest, they debuted the brand new headquarters. Dude, it's insane. You got to see it yourself.
I've been following it online and living vicariously through all you diehard Sworn fans. And I kind of dropped off his Kickstarter for a little while ago because I couldn't keep up with everything. I was trying to get every artist.
New one just launched Wednesday.
So yeah, it's crazy. And so being part of that community, even though we're not at the same level, but knowing that he knows who we are, we know who we know the stories. We're kind of intertwined now. Like James O'Barr, we got him down here one year to El Paso. We're trying to get him down here for this one. It's just kind of not working out because the Crow movie coming out.
Yeah.
he's getting a little busy.
He's gonna get pretty busy in a couple months.
We mark our words. We're still looking for next year. We're already planning. I know Carlos is already thinking ahead for next year. We got some ideas. I'm already trying to poke some of the bushes here to get some other folks that El Paso hasn't seen in a long time. So
I kind of want to pitch something here since you brought up Coffin and all that stuff. Well, it is Coffin Comics, but La Morta, Joe Gomez interiors, Mike McLean writer. I mean, Borderland, Barrio, Grindhouse, perfect for El Paso.
Yeah. We just, we've thought that for a long time, and we know it's just a matter of scheduling and timing because once they launched Coffin, it just took on a life of its own, and he's got his own Comic Cons now, and he's real heavy, if not the main person behind Tucson Comic Con. So
yeah, I think I've been told he's a majority owner. I know he's been involved for a long time.
And unfortunately, every year I've got something going on with my family that year on the 3rd and 4th of September, which is why we picked later in September, because we didn't want to step on Tucson Comic Con at all for Soldiercon. I've been hearing so great things about Tucson Comic Con, and we used to go to Phoenix Comic Con a lot, and we just COVID and everything kind of dropped us off the scene, but we've been coming back in a big bad way, and we went to Albuquerque Comic Con this last January.
How was that? I haven't been in a couple years.
It was good. It was good. We were set up in the vendor room, and like Carlos was saying, his truck broke on his way up there to take the spider buggy. But if you haven't seen the spider buggy live, that thing, it could have a con of its own. That spider buggy is amazing. Growing up in the 70s with all these shows with dune buggies on the beach and superheroes and seeing it in the comic book and then seeing it in real life, Carlos is not. It was worth it for I'm sorry for speaking for you, Carlos, but it was worth it for you to break your truck getting up to Albuquerque Comic Con, because those lines that I saw with everybody happy to get their picture with the spider buggy.
To bring vehicles to events, especially when it's the kids. The kids are the ones that are affected the most with the vehicles that we provide. Really quick story. One time I was sponsored by Xbox, and we did an event in San Antonio, and this is when I had the E46 wide body BMW, and then the vehicle was displayed in their booth, and I had a kid come up and checked out the vehicle. Then his mom came back a little bit later, and she's like, "Oh, my son's so upset." And I was like, "Why is your son upset?" I was like, "Was a model not being nice? What's going on?" And she's like, "No, he's upset because he didn't bring the magazine that the vehicle is on the cover, and he wanted you to sign it." And I was like, "Oh, wow." And so, I talked to the Xbox representative, and we got him some T-shirts and some stickers. And same thing with the theme vehicles, especially the theme vehicles, because the kids automatically know the character, and they go to beeline direct to the vehicle, and they love it. And not only kids, we do have a lot of people that are on the spectrum that we allow to get in the vehicle, to touch the vehicle, because too they understand the colors, they are familiar with the character, and it's really cool to see. So me blowing an engine, taking the spider buggy up to Albuquerque was
sacrifice.
well worth it.
Sounds like it, yeah.
And and we do it all over. And like I said, we wanted other people to experience the same things that we've been able to experience. And that target audience is the military. I can't, and people, you've heard this saying all the time, you can't please everyone, you can't make everyone happy. But what we're trying to do is bring a positive experience to those that we can't, I believe, affect. And those are people that enjoy pop culture, especially those in the military. And that is what we're trying to do with this event. El Paso and some of the southern cities that I've already mentioned in the past, that's just small change compared to what our main goal is. Our main goal is to bring Soldiercon to 5 military installations in Europe and bring some of the back homeness to those soldiers that are deployed for years at a time, and for those people that are into the pop culture community. We want to hit 5 military installations in the near future with the Soldiercon experience. But for those that are in the area, Soldiercon is the 6th to the 8th of September this year. Tickets are online. You can get them through our social media. You can get it through c4soldiercon.com. The City Magazine has a portal for that as well. You're going to be seeing a lot more ads and advertising and people mentioning it, but get them now before the prices change again. And there are VIP experiences offered through SoldierCon on our main site as well. So if you want to have a personalized experience with Noel G, if you want to talk about Hercules with Kevin Sorbo, if you want to have the Sonic supersonic breakfast with the guys from Sonic, or spend a lunchtime with the ladies from Power Rangers, there are vouchers that you can obtain through the same portal that you get your general admission tickets.
Nice. Hey, real quick, I know you got to go soon, but which of your cars will be there, and how many spots are left to register if people want to participate in that car show?
Right now, we have several spots available because the way we're doing the car show is when we're reserving certain levels of the parking structure, and so whenever we fill up that level, then we'll open up more spots. As far as my cars, I don't know if I'm going to have time to bring the cars. I would like to think that I'll be able to bring the Spider Buggy and a vehicle that no one's seen yet because it's not finished. We're building a nemesis to the Spider Buggy, which is going to be the Venom Buggy. Since Venom coming out October 24th. And I just got word that we might be getting the Spider-Gwen Gladiator that we built for SEMA coming in from Phoenix. But that's if everything goes super well and I have time to bring the vehicles before the roll-in at 7:30 on 7th September for the car show.
Sounds good, man. Anything else you want to add, or any more details you want to add before you take off here? Or?
I just want to add that the reason I'm in Las Vegas, the reason I went to San Diego, the reason I go to LA, Colorado, and all these places for the last year is because we want to bring different talent to the pop culture community and have them experience, other entities that have not come to El Paso. And ultimately, we want, to create a positive experience. And if you, get the tickets to come to our event, you are going to have that. You are going to have that experience you're going to talk about for a while, and you are going to be looking forward to the next SoldierCon. But for right now, SoldierCon is going to be the 6th to the 8th of September at the Starlight Convention Center in El Paso, right next to the International Airport.
All right, man. We appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, be safe out there, Carlos.
Right.
We'll see you when you get back.
What was that?
Be safe out there. We'll see you when you get back.
Oh, definitely. You got a lot to talk about, especially some of the things that I gave hints to. But
excellent.
Thank you for allowing me to talk. I know my wife says I talk too much.
Not at all, sir.
If you guys have any questions, you can always find us on social media, at Instagram or on Facebook. I do my best to answer questions within 24 hours. And please keep in mind, I'll be probably getting a lot more questions within the next few weeks prior to SoldierCon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Matt, for setting this up.
No problem, Carlos.
Thank you for being here, man. We love having you.
All right, you have a great day.
You too. Actually, a couple more questions real quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk Spiralminded real quick. So what, just start from the beginning here. What year was Spiralminded? When did you come up with the idea versus when you put pen to paper? And
well, this is going to be a little difficult because usually Benito's here with me and we feed off each other, but I'm going to do my best. He's here. He's in spirit, man. I know he's got things going on, but so I got a call from Benito, my nephew. He was my, let me throw it out there. He's my nephew. My sister was married to his dad for a long time. So, and he's older than me. He's a couple of years older than me. Nothing wrong with that. But just the fact that I got to call this guy my nephew, and he's older than me, was awesome growing up since I was 7 years old. So, we're both Dallas Cowboy fans. Tom Landry fans. So we grew up together, me, him, and his brother, his little brother. We were like inseparable every weekend, going to parties, going to Western Playland, doing this, doing that. He was always the kind of guy that would come up with things, with ideas. He was selling some of the toys on the front patio for passersby, the helmets from the vending machines for the NFL, the one you get there, the caps you get at Baskin Robbins for baseball. No, he was the entrepreneur spirit. And one year when he was in his, we're teenagers. I think he might have been even in college, or we were in college maybe. He called me up and said, we're going to start a boy band, like New Kids on the Block. And I was just laughing because he's not the New Kids on the Block type of guy. He loves music. He's a fan of the Beatles. Grew up on that. And he, knowing now what I know now, he was semi-serious. I took it as a joke, kind of, yeah, okay, what am I going to do? I don't play an instrument. No, you can dance. All right. So we joked about it. Years later, he's going to school. I'm working in the Department of Defense. He's going to school for electrical engineering. Calls me up in the middle of the day, and telling me that we're going to start a comic book. I was like, okay, going back to those boy band vibes that he was giving me before. And I was like, part of me was like, all right, bro, let's go talk about it over some beers at the, at Lloyd's Pub or whatever, at the Rock House, but I didn't. I said, all right, let me hear him out and see what he has to say. So he goes into the story about this character named Spiralmind, about a rabbi performing exorcisms, about, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it intrigued me, and he kept going. I have to mention, he's a big fan of 007 James Bond. So the character Spiralmind back then in his mind was a tuxedo wearing, suave gentleman, who fought monsters. And I thought, oh man, that's a pretty awesome idea. But I was like, I would like to see that as a superhero. So he sent me what he wrote up. He went home and wrote up something. And, I read this narrative, and I was like, dude, you need to write a book, man. We're not artists. We're not, we're going to have to, I was going through the motions in my head of what it would take to make a comic book. I didn't know the first thing about it, but I knew we needed an artist. So he's like, no, it's got to be a comic book. So I said, all right. So I knew an artist where I worked. He worked for EMT. He was just doodling stuff. We met up with him, and it was Joaquin Silva out of Alamogordo, very talented artist. He had connections to the Tick. He used to draw for Ben England and doing the Tick back in the 90s in Boston. So I thought, well, all right, there's our ticket. So we reinvented the character. We had a bunch of meetings, reinvented the character to be a superhero, to be the costume creator you see now, in the blue costume and the red. We didn't even know his color yet, what he's going to look like, sort of. We're still kind of building it up. But we came out with this small 6 or 8 page ash can that we had printed at the Thrifty Nickel downtown because we couldn't find a printer. We didn't know the first thing about printing. And we released it on Free Comic Book Day, 2000, it was 2002 or 2003. I don't remember the exact year right now, but 2003 sounds about right. And that was the start. We started meeting local artists. Sirac was one of the local artists that we met. I believe he's going to be here at Soldiercon too. I need to verify that, but we invited him to Soldiercon. Very talented artist. First artist I ever see try to apply to be on Image Comics. So I don't know if he made it back then, but very talented artist. We just started rolling from there. The little ash can turned into issue 1, where Benito found an artist online through DeviantArt who was willing to take that narrative and break it down into the comic book you see today. And if we had this vision of Spawn style, Lady Death style art, and what we got back was something a little more rudimentary, but it spoke to us because it was black and white. It was kind of matched what was hot at the time, Walking Dead, the Walking Dead comic, #1 comic at the time. And so we just went with it. We had a letter lined up. We lost him. He fell off the face of the earth. So I said, screw it. I'll just teach myself how to letter on the computer. And that's what happened. We lettered it. And a couple of years after the inception, we came out with our first issue. And it's just been just snowballing after that. So although we started in 2003, the first issue didn't come out until 2008, and so we've kind of had the frequency of about one a year coming out with the comic book of Spiralmind story. But we've got several in the works right now, several on the back burner that we're putting together. I'm still doing the lettering and editing, and Benito's, I call him the artist whisperer because he's working with artists from across the world and bringing our vision, his writing to life. And now we're, like I mentioned before, we're signed with Marcosia out of the UK. They distribute, they publish for us, and they're the ones getting our comic book into Amazon, into Drive-Thru Comics. Now, we were doing that on our own before, but these guys actually have their why reinvent the wheel is what I always come up with. If someone's doing it right and that's their expertise, let's work with them, because we can't do all of it at the same time. We tried, but it's just a lot of work. So,
Well, I don't on the indie level, it's always like more work, less people involved, takes longer. And in your guys' case,
and we're getting older. We're getting older, but yeah. So just to give you everybody out here and yourself a quick synopsis. So a rabbi, a priest, and a superhero walk into a bar. But that doesn't even happen until issue 3, Black Market. So that's the joke we use when we're pitching it at the Comic-Con. So we usually have them by the rabbi and the priest walking into the bar. But anyway, so the premise of Spiralmind is on the eve of his bar mitzvah at 12 years old, his mother is possessed by 3 demons, and he goes into a state of unconsciousness where he could see the past, present, and future simultaneously. And that's what we call the phi, the golden ratio. It's Fibonacci series in math. So that's why his logo looks like the phi with a galaxy coming out of it. So he was able to capture that 13 years old. His mother, I don't want to give away a lot, but his mother ends up passing away. He goes through an orphanage run by Father Tom O'Brien, whose best friend is a rabbi, Rabbi Rothblatt. No relation to me, but my grandfather's last name was Rothblatt without the H. So a little nod to my family history. And we kind of have the stoic rabbi, the Golden Gloves, Southie Boston boxer, priest, and you have Ben Landry, aka Spiralmind, an electrical engineer, like Benito, and with the alter ego of Spiralmind. So
now there are little Easter eggs throughout, because I couldn't help but notice McKellican Canyon made an appearance in there.
Yeah, we'll throw in now. It takes place in a fictional city of Nineveh, which does not exist in the United States. It's kind of like our Springfield, but Nineveh, which has little elements of El Paso, little elements of southern New Mexico, little elements of Boston, where I went to school for a while, but little elements of different. It's got a bay. It's got cobblestone streets. Different sections. It's got an old town. It's got that kind of stuff. So, but there's a lot. Like even Black Market was named after the Black Market that we'd hang out with, and we became friends with the owner. But the biggest nemesis in these books come basically from the Old Testament. We have the Nephilim, who we give a backstory to, being of course, being the offspring of the fallen angels, Lucifer and Moloch and all these other fallen. But we give a scientific injection into that, where we explain it in a way that has these fallen angels, or demons now, trying to reclaim Earth through the Nephilim. But that's even expanded to more things. The things we're working on now are other planets, other galaxies, other species. So we grew up, watching, 60s and 70s, Planet of the Apes, Star Trek. So we love the lizard men. We love the ape men, the ape societies and things like that, but with human characteristics. So we're putting a lot of those elements in a Spiralmind. But since Spiralmind can go to any time, any place, and conjure up this ability through what's in his DNA, which goes back a long way. I'm not going to give away any of that right now, but we haven't revealed all that stuff yet. But it gives us a big playground to play in. So
Sounds like it.
yeah,
So, but for Soldiercon, you can have physical books on sale there, or maybe some art prints, or what's the plan?
all the above. We're going to have some of our prints that we've been doing at every Comic-Con that we go to, our comics under the Fee 3 label, but we're driving people toward the Marcosia label now. We're actually going to have our Spiralmind costume there. Last time at Albuquerque Comic-Con, my son was wearing it, got a lot of attention. Hopefully we can get my son Max to wear it again. If not, we'll have a mannequin wearing the costume so people can take pictures with it. Got a lot planned. We're going to be sitting next to Mickey Clausen, the other former El Pasoan who made a name for himself in the comics, coming back, who's also on Marcosia now. So we'll have a little Marcosia corner going on. And I'll be helping out behind the scenes with everything else,
Any variant covers, or is like a Comic-Con exclusive, or I'm sorry, Soldiercon exclusive cover or anything like that? Or
Well, no, but we'll have some special things for the fans.
Gotcha.
It's kind of hard for us to just keep up with that, but we have a variety of prints that we've done over the years, and some are more exclusive than others and harder to get than others because of just the amount of copies we've made. We tried to get into that earlier, trying to do a variant cover and things like that, but it's just really tough to keep up with that from our side. But we're always open to it. We should. That's a good point. We should at some point do a blank cover and have folks do it. Someone I'll throw some names out there too. Someone Carlos did not mention for SoldierCon was Raymond Gay. He's an artist who's been on the rise lately in a big way. He's doing covers for Todd McFarlane for Image Comics, Spawn, Spawn titles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ronin series. He's done some variant covers for that.
Damn, that's a good series.
So he's been getting real busy, and he actually did a cover that for a book we did a crossover with another local creator who we met over the years, Jacob Marmolejo. He does a comic book called The Afflicted, and his is like an angel warrior type of character. And we did a cool crossover called Wars of Destiny. And
nice.
And Raymond Gay did the cover of that one. So, and actually Raymond Gay, I don't think he started with Jacob working the stuff, but when Jacob was looking to start a comic book, he approached us at a Comic-Con here in town, and he was like, "Hey, I want to start a comic book." And we're like, "Well, you got the story?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, we would love to work with you, but we're so busy doing our own thing, and it's just taking up all our time. But we could tell you what we did. Go. There's plenty of artists here. Go find an artist that you like that fits your narrative, and just start working with them." And that's what happened. He started working with Raymond on some of his books, and next thing you know, he was pitching The Afflicted to Image, and Image goes, "Oh yeah, we like it, but we like your artist." So I started talking to Ray directly. So, but it's okay. We're on this. We're all helping each other out. And that's what's great about it, because we've had an artist, Chris Sheehan, did a whole book for us called Mesmerism Part 1, and now he's doing Something Is Killing the Children and things like that for Boom Studios.
Oh, I've seen that one.
So he's done some great work, and we were lucky to have him for the time we had him, working with us. So, it's exciting. There's a lot of great artists out there, a lot of great artists in El Paso too. So a lot of great creativity here. And, I kind of liken it to bands and music, like I know you're big into the indie heavy metal bands, or and that's the same thing. It's a DIY attitude, and
it all starts somewhere.
It's very I mean, I used to manage a band here in El Paso a long time ago called Cotton. They used to be way back. They used to be called Mineral Spirits. They used to be the ones people would go into the backyards in the Northeast to go watch them play in something next to someone's pool. Some of those guys went to go watch them play. Mars Volta at the drive-in, in Sparta. It was pretty awesome time, in El Paso. It just seemed the different things going on around town and happening. Creativity is awesome. And the fact that we teamed up with Carlos, and Carlos is doing the Soldiercon, and he's bringing the car elements, and now he's getting more into the pop culture elements of it, and we're helping him with the creator side, the comic side, and it's just a big.
What I like about it the most is like not only is it affordable, which is important, but it's also a well-rounded event. You got your cars, you got your actors, your comic artists, your writers, your voiceovers. It's like it's something for everybody, and that's what's important for events like that.
Yeah, you got to have something for everybody, and like I said, the military families, they're diverse. They got different tastes. I'll tell you what, they love what they love, and you offer it to them. They'll be happy. They'll be grateful, and we're grateful for them. And it's just it's kind of like giving back in a way. And then I grew up. I'm a result of Fort Bliss. If it wasn't for Fort Bliss, I would not even be sitting here right now.
I wouldn't be in El Paso either from Fort Bliss.
So I mean, it's always been part of me. And this again, we say that about the soldier stuff, but this is open to the public. This is for everybody, and it's outside of Fort Bliss where everybody can get to. So I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And I know Carlos and Ben have been doing an awesome job getting the word out and getting doing the heavy lifting on the paperwork side of it and the financial side of it and all that stuff. And I'm just glad to be able to do what I can do. And like, hey, what about this person? Can you bring this person in? Can we bring this person? And introducing them to certain folks. And over the years of people that Ben and I have met through all these Comic-Cons and made relationships with, we made a relationship with some handlers and things who used to come to El Paso, but had some bad experiences in the past and you didn't think of El Paso anymore until we were like, hey man, come back. He's, oh no, this and that.
I think I know what you're alluding to.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, I'm not slinging arrows, but what I'm saying is sometimes hey, this person used to come to El Paso. They don't come anymore. But, it's a great thing. It's like I said, I'm excited to get Spiralmind, or for us to have Spiralmind in a place like this, but I'm even more excited to be sitting next to Mickey Kloss and sitting with Joe Lujan, another local, Frank Powers, who's been heavily into filmmaking here in El Paso over the years. He did the Brothers James Retribution film that came out a while ago that he filmed even further back. He's going to be there. So having the filmmakers there, having, creatives there, it's a boiling pot. That's where you make connections. I mean, we met Joe Lujan at a Comic-Con, we met Marmolejo at a Comic-Con, like I said, the afflicted person. And, it's, there's nothing like it. If people listening have not been to a convention, make this your first,
Yeah.
It's a good way to get into it.
It's a dangerous bug because my first comic, or it's not even a Comic-Con, it was a horror con, was FrankenCon in 2011.
Yes.
And then slowly you start getting the bug, and then I started going to Albuquerque and Tucson and Santa Fe.
Exactly. And we even got to the point where we were going to, we found out that we could go as professionals to San Diego Comic-Con. You just bid on that, you put in for the free passes and stuff. And Benito and I went the first year we got the free passes to San Diego, and we had a blast. We were pitching the hell out of Spiralmind. We have this saying, always be pitching Spiralmind, ABPS.
Yeah.
We put a hashtag on everything. So we were out there pitching the hell out of Spiralmind, taking meetings with Cartoon Network and things like that. What stuff wasn't going anywhere with that, but at the same time, that the world was a little different at that time. Seems like now people are paying attention to indie comics. Boom Studios just got bought out by Random House. Disney bought out Fox and acquired the X-Men now and Deadpool and things like that. And you see what's going on. That's why I'm wearing the Deadpool shirt today, because I mean, it's a fun phenomenon that's still growing. People think that there's superhero creep or whatever you want to call it, fatigue, right? Superhero fatigue or movie.
Well, that Deadpool movie just proved there is no fatigue.
Oh no,
that was so solid. That's definitely one of my top of all the Marvel or the recent Marvel movies. Definitely, it's probably number one, if not pretty close.
Same here. I've already seen it twice. I want to go see it again while it's still in theaters, and that's what's motivating. It's like, we met Rob Liefeld at Comic-Con. I even have a picture of him holding a Spiralmind action figure that I created, or I painted, character to look like him. And he even go, oh, I like the look of this character. So having the creator of Deadpool, the number one movie in America, or number one character probably in America right now, or if not the world, telling me he likes my character. I mean, that says a lot. So at the same time, he didn't own it. I mean, Marvel owned it. But it's transcending even the downtimes when Rob Liefeld was getting beat up a lot for his art over online and things like that.
Yeah, he had a couple of rough patches there. I don't think that was completely warranted, but that's just my opinion.
But he prevailed, and now he's got his own footwear store in the Marvel universe. Liefeld feet, just feet.
Plus you have Youngblood and all the Image stuff he did. Cable. I mean,
yeah, he created some iconic characters.
What's crazy is growing up, like I was huge into X-Men, the cartoons, the toys, the video games, a little bit of the comics. I didn't have a lot, but I had some. But I don't remember hearing much about Deadpool. Now Deadpool's like usurped everything.
Exactly. And it was like the rumblings were there. People knew, even in the early 2000s, people were starting to collect issue 1 or the first appearance of Deadpool. I forgot what issue it was, but the first appearance. And, and then the internet started, all these things, rob this, rob that, whatever. And I was like, oh man, because, the whole 90s boom of Image kind of sour graped it for a lot of people in the comic books industry because, everyone was buying Image. Marvel was doing all these variant covers, lenticular covers. It just became a money grab for a lot of these companies. And unfortunately, Image kind of at the beginning was successful. And then it kind of filtered down all that hate toward the money grab type of thing. All of them prevailed. They're all legends, and the fact that Todd McFarlane, he's stuck with the toys, the Todd toy stuff, the McFarlane toys, and he's got everybody.
Dude raised $2 million on Kickstarter for one action figure.
Oh yeah, I think I bought that one. It was it might have been. It's amazing, and just being around these guys, meeting these guys in person. Todd, I met a few times at Phoenix and at San Diego. It's just, and I introduced my son to that world. My son's 22 now. He's going to be commissioned into the Space Force in May. So
nice. Congrats, man.
Yeah, thanks. He's having him be a fan, of the whole thing, the whole Marvel thing, and all of this thing. Even dressing up as our character. You know how proud I was, or we were, to see my son walking around. As much as he complained a little, he was loving it too. He entered the cosplay contest. He didn't have anything planned out, just went out there with the costume on and just did his thing.
Now, is there going to be a cosplay contest? I guess there would be, but I wasn't sure.
That's a good question. I don't want to answer that. I know there's cosplays welcome for Soldiercon. I don't know if we have anything planned right now for a contest, but there's still time. So we'd have to ask Carlos about that again, and then maybe some folks. I know he's heavily involved with putting word out there on the El Paso cosplay socials, the socials. So I'm gonna let him do that. But there's not a Comic-Con without cosplay. So having people dress up, this is one of my favorite parts of it. Seeing another person he didn't mention was Marcel Stark. He's a local cosplayer who looks strikingly like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, nice.
And he shows up with semi Iron Man attire on. It's kind of mixed between Tony Stark and Iron Man with just the heart.
It's like Fortnite when you're building the character, but you're not quite Iron Man.
Exactly. So he's got certain special attire that he wears. He's got the sunglasses, and we were with him in Albuquerque. I was walking with him, and they're filming him. There's people turning their heads. I think somebody filmed the reactions of people. There was people who were in disbelief. They were like, "It's got to be him. It's him." You could hear him. You could hear whispers, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And I know he'll be there. And wherever you see him, you're always going to see a crowd. And he's always happy to take pictures with people and stuff. And I think he even crashed the Grammys one time because they thought he was the real Tony Stark
That's awesome.
or Robert Downey Jr. So, it's like the fandom going on right now, and I'm glad. It's awesome to talk to another Brian Pulido, Coffin Comics, Lady Death fan, because I know how rabid that fan base is, and like I said, I got to see it grow from kind of the inside. And I remember one time I showed him, and I'm not taking nothing away, and I'm not saying it was me and nothing, but I showed him this ring that I have, the Spiralmind ring that we had made. He's all, let me see that. And he like took some pictures of it and stuff. And I told him where to go, what to do, how to get it, whatever. Next thing you know, he's coming out with his Coffin Comics rings, stainless steel rings. I'm like,
and he's always rocking those things.
Little wink to him going. So every time I see him, we take a picture, rocking out with our rings out. So, but yeah, it's awesome, just to see, and for him not to forget, knowing, saying hi to us or, welcoming us. And he's like that with all his fans and strangers too. So, because he, like I said, he was on a small table behind the door.
Him and Fran are some of the nicest people you ever meet.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And I didn't get to go to Comic-Con this year. We had tickets. We were trying to figure out how to go, but just didn't happen. And, they're one of the reasons I like going, just to go say hi to them, go talk to them, even though they're 4 hours away, but, see them in their element. Just awesome. And it's motivating. It's an energy. As a creator, you soak in all that energy, just like you when you had a free comic book day. You feel it, you go there. And matter of fact, that day you were there, Ray was over there doing some artwork. So yeah, Raymond Gay
was pretty packed by the time I got there.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, it's there's and what's cool is it's a big crossover thing. We were saying cars, pop
everything.
culture.
Well, pop culture says
horror.
the best. Yeah.
I'm a big horror fan. Indie comics, major comic,
music. Wrestling, potentially wrestling.
It's yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Marky Ramone, come on, yeah, legend. And go ahead.
I'll say let's plug it one more time. So it's on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. We have the hours. Is it 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, or?
I believe usually they start about 10 or 11. It's all on the socials. It'll all be on the socials, and the prices to get in for those who are not active duty military. The prices will be there.
So real quick, so what is the price for active duty military?
Active duty military is $0.
Free for active duty military. I just want him to say it first. Free for active duty military.
Yes, and usually, as active duty military knows, you have a CAT card. So make sure you have your CAT card on you. And if you have any questions, hit up the social media and hit up Carlos, Benito, or I, and we'll be sure to get your questions answered. Now, again, for those who do have to pay, it's not a lot. Again, parking is free. There's no charge for parking, no parking meters around there or anything like that. So, and there's 4 levels or 5 levels of parking underneath the Starlight in the building of the Starlight. So, and then there's space outside where there's going to be parking as well. So, yeah, it's just going to be a pretty awesome event. So
sounds like a good time, man. I can't wait. Anything else you want to add before we take off, or?
Let me think. No, but I appreciate you having me on the show. Nick, we'll do this. We have to do this again with our new releases. We've got some new book, like you said, Chevy Jeff Clowns. You picked up through Amazon or through Kindle.
Yeah,
and that's, again, you can look that up. Look, Drive Through Comics. You can pick up our comic books there. We have 2 issues through Marcosia right now. What I'm having to do is resize them and get them to them for their format size. And we got one more. Mesmeriza Part 2 that I've got to get to Marcosia. Then he's going to bind them and have physical prints available through Marcosia. So
awesome, man.
And they'll be available all over the place. And if you can see us in person at Soldiercon or any other event, but specifically Soldiercon, will be there for sure, 6th through 8th with our booth, with Spiralmind Comics, Spiralmind Prints, and both creators are there, myself and Ben Perez, and he'll be running around behind the scenes helping Carlos with the con itself. I'll be in the booth. Our kids will be there helping us man the booth. And, we'll have a great time. We'll get things signed. We'll talk to artists. Let's have some fun.
Sounds good. I'll have you guys back in the future. We can just discuss future releases, cosplay, whatever you want, man.
Appreciate it.
Here at the Rock House, 9838 Montana Avenue.
We can sit and talk about Lady Death all day, too.
Yes, sir. Always.
Appreciate it.
Take care, man.
You too.